Hello everybody, in today's video we are going to be learning one of my favorite pieces of all time, and that is Chopin's Waltz in A minor. Chopin is known for writing incredibly challenging songs, and I'd say this is a late beginner, very late beginner, or an early intermediate piece. One thing Chopin's really known for is writing these beautiful melodies that almost sound like someone is speaking. They are so lyrical. So in this piece we're going to learn all about making these nice melodies in the right hand with a great accompaniment pattern in this left hand. The accompaniment pattern that we're going to learn in this piece, you can apply to all kinds of styles, whether that's your pop playing or even jazz or ragtime. The way this left hand is moving around, so many useful applications. Another technique we're going to be using a lot in this piece is trills in the right hand. And if you're new here today, my name is Jordan Evans. I'm a full-time piano teacher and I love making YouTube videos about just piano education, general music theory and whatnot. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And without any further ado, let's just jump right in. So when we're looking at a new piece, we just want to make some observations. Looking at this piece, our time signature is 3/4. Which means we're counting each measure in threes, but we're still in simple time. What I mean by that is a lot of times when you see 3, you think we're compounding, counting in threes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. But in this instance, we're still counting in twos. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. So that's our time signature. And let's look at the key signature. No sharps or flats. So right off the bat, you might think we're in the key of C. No sharps or flats, but we have to look for the evidence. So if you look, let's get the pickup measure. We start on an A minor. It's obviously A minor. That's extremely A minor in its sound. And for further evidence, if you go to the B section all the way at the bottom, we modulate to E major, which is the dominant of A minor. So that just shows that we have that A minor to the dominant back to A minor. So very, very clearly an A minor. And another thing I want to briefly talk about is this idea of a pickup. For a lot of beginner players, this might be their first instance of seeing a pickup, or you might not truly understand what a pickup is, so let me help you out. The pickup just means the melody doesn't start on the downbeat, and the downbeat's just the strongest beat. So in measure 1, that's the downbeat, right there. So this, we assume it's on beat 3, because in this measure there's only one beat. Beat 3 is not strong, so it's 1, 2, 3, 1. Notice, so I'm not putting the emphasis on the 3, da-dum. It's the other way around, da-da-dum, 1. So that's just a really subtle difference, but that's what the pickup does. If you want to sound really fancy in your theory class, call it an anacrusis. All right, so jumping right into the right hand, we're going to start with our thumb on that E, on the pickup. 2 on A, we're going to go E, A, B with fingers 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go 4, 1. Notice, really subtle hand change there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, which actually worked perfectly with this phrasing. Notice we have a slur over the first 4 notes. So that's all one idea. And then to break the phrase, we're going to shift our whole hand up to get to the next position. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Nice, next measure. So we're on beat 3 of the next measure, and we're just gonna go 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, all together. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and add in the left hand. This note, all the way down here, I'll go ahead and spoil it. It's a low A. You might not even be able to see that on my overhead. So imagine this note right here, and we're just gonna go down one more octave, all the way down there. So we have, let me teach you the rest of the left hand before we go jumping in. So we have this, and then we just go all the way up here to an A minor chord. Our middle finger's gonna be on middle C, our pinky's gonna be on A, and our thumb is on E, just like that. And the way this left hand accompaniment pattern goes, it's awesome. It's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The next measure, we're gonna go to this D right here. You can just barely see it, but it's this D with our pinky, but 1 octave lower. And our chord is a D minor, let's see, second inversion. So we have an A, D, F. If you think about the first chord that we were just on, the A minor chord, just move it up. So we're gonna go D, And then the last note, spoiler alert, is going to be a G. So we're going A minor, D minor, and G. Let's try and put that together. And you can just end on that G. One of the other cool things about this piece is using our foot pedal, we're going to want to put every measure that's the same chord together. So notice, if I play it without the pedal, and I'm exaggerating it so you can see the difference, with the pedal, it creates this massive soundscape. It's awesome. Especially with those low notes. Pretty much every time I change a bass note, that's when you just lift and change your pedal. If you're not used to using your pedal, it's kind of like driving a car. If you're younger, too young to drive a car, don't drive a car. But you just keep your heel on the floor and you just gently put your toe down and lift it up. But your heel stays put. It's just really a motion of your ankle. So, and switch. And we'll just end. The next note's gonna be a B with our thumb in the right hand. And here's the thing, the switching here is so important because if we're not switching, and this is gonna be congruent for the rest of the piece, if we're not switching, it's gonna get really muddy. You'll see. I played the wrong notes. So because I was making a point. All of it just blends together. Let's look at the next measure. We got a G in the left hand. We're gonna play a G, B, F right there. So we got a G dominant chord. So we got the G dominant 7 to the C. The C is just right here, one octave below middle C. And then we go up to right there. So the left hand chords are all kind of in this same little area. We just go this. So I'd recommend just practicing those before even adding in the left hand parts, because that jump can be pretty intimidating at first. So yeah, if you just want to practice the whole left hand part, it's just D chord and a G dominant 7 to the C. Believe it or not, it's gonna loop, but the second time around, our A is gonna be here instead of an octave lower. Cool, let's learn that melody in the right hand here. So we have, it's gonna go B, C, D. Here's a place where I, as a teacher, actually break a rule. I'm gonna teach you the rule and I'm gonna tell you some exceptions. So when we go up, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 3. So for this part, we're approaching a trill and we're either gonna play 5, 4, 3 on A, or we're gonna go 4, 3, 2, depending on what's easiest for you. This is how I like to play it. So the rule is we never wanna put our thumb on a black note unless we absolutely have to. So for this, if I went 5, 4, 3, I'm putting myself in a position where I'm trilling 2 and 3, and I have to put my thumb on this sharp right here, which is how I play it, because it feels comfortable for me. That's when you break the rule. Does it feel comfortable for you? Does it make sense? Is it practical? If it's not, we're always gonna cross under. This is why I'm doing a disclaimer. I'm gonna teach you both ways. The way I play it, starting on A, we go 5, 4, 3, 2. This is where the trill comes, and I just play it like that. But the right way, which most teachers will teach, is gonna be 4, 3, 2, like that, with just a crossover. So practice it either way, but we're gonna learn about trills right now and how to throw that in there. So one more time, this melody in the right hand, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna teach you my way. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 3. See this little trill? There's these two little notes. In this instance, are called grace notes, and we're gonna trill them. So this E is the downbeat. This E is the downbeat, and by downbeat I mean it's what we're ending on. This E, so it's and 1. So these other two notes are inconsequential. This is the note, so we could just play. That's where we're just throwing that in there before that. The way to practice it is just over and over. And eventually, it becomes one solid note. That D sharp is on the offbeat. 1, 1, and 1, and like that. So all together. Yeah, and these notes are just B, C, D, A, G, F. And that's where the trill comes in. I'll show you how it fits together. This one's a little trickier than the first time around. One more time. Notice how the trill just slides in there. It's really not noticeable, we're just ornamenting that E note. whole first line is gonna sound like this. With the pickup. All right, next line. So we're actually gonna be doing the same exact thing for the next line. Except this time our A is an octave up, like I said earlier. So we have same thing. Here's where it's gonna change a little bit actually. So there's no trill, so that makes it a little easier. We're gonna do the 1, 2, 3, 5, where we jump up. 5, 4, 1, 2. Notice that change. 5, 4, 1, 2. The 1, 2 is on B, C, and that's gonna be our downbeat. So it's the same thing in the left hand. So it's 1, 2, and we're gonna end with our pinky on C, and then we just play one note in this hand. Instead of that usual pattern, though, we're just gonna go 1, 2, off. So I'll show you how that goes, starting from the beginning of that line. We go. So right here is something that's kind of interesting. We're basically cutting off completely before we play this next E. There's almost like the slightest breath of a fermata in there because we're starting like a whole new idea after this. That's the end of that first phrase. I'll show you what I mean by that before I teach you this next part. So when we play that, I'll just start right on the G. See how we're going into a new section there? So you can almost take a whole, not a whole beat, but a whole like micro second to just kind of create a difference between those things while still pretty much staying in time. Starting right there on this next pickup, we're gonna go E. This is actually the same thing that we did the very first time. Same thing. Still the same thing. Same thing. Don't worry. Same thing. Don't mind my mistake. So right here is actually where it changes. We're gonna be doing the same A minor chord, but this time we're on a C. It's kind of building tension, how we're climbing up the scale as we go. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go C, D, E, E. Doing the same thing we did the first time around, where it's C, D, E, E, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to A. Same chords though in the left hand, so it goes. Very good. Here, we're gonna put finger 2 on this G. Let me teach you this little lick. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and F sharp G. 1, 2 and 1, 2 and D. 1, 2 and D. F natural E. Just watch my hand and see if you can copy it. 1. Yeah, just like that. And 2, 3. That's actually pretty tough. Putting it together, this is like the very end of our A section of this piece per se. So we want to really kind of raise the tension and then lower it immediately before we prepare for the next section. So it's, see how I did that? I just kind of climaxed it a little bit, but then I just brought it right back. That D is an awesome jump, especially because a lot of this melody, there hasn't been many jumps other than that's like the only jump that I can remember in this whole thing. So it's very nice and refreshing to have that big jump there. So we have, and then we're almost completely off here. Congratulations, that's the whole A section of the piece. All right, this next section we are modulating. So we're gonna be in E major here actually. Right here, we're just like climbing up an E major scale. So we got an F sharp and a G sharp in the right hand. And it's really common to see this kind of modulation, like I said earlier, in the key of A minor. Our dominant, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is the E. So it's really common to go to the dominant, especially when we're playing in minor. Yeah, you've heard that a million times. So now we are in the dominant. Let's learn the right hand first. We're gonna go E, right up here. I hope you can see on my right hand for this, we'll see. We're gonna go E, 2, 3, 1 on the A. So this is unique. When we're climbing up the scale, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, like that. Just climbing up E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C. So we go. But we're skipping that finger 2 there because we're gonna need it in a second. Like that. So when we're going up, And then the downbeat is gonna be a 3-4-3, and then that's on the and. Like that. And then we go back down to this. And then that's gonna be 4-3 as well. So yeah, the first two measures really tie into each other. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, trill. And here's the thing, everything that we play at the end of the phrase is pretty much always our next trill. That's the next shape. So the second one, G sharp, E, F, E, then we trill those notes. That's the whole thing. This is honestly one of the hardest parts of the whole piece. Really kind of tricky at first. That's the whole thing right there. So we have E, F sharp, G sharp, A, 3 and 4, trill, 4, 3, trill, G sharp, E, F, E, B, A, and then we're gonna end on an E. And that E takes us all the way to the downbeat where this triplet's about to come in. So let's learn the left hand real quick. We have E. This is the first time our left hand is really different to anything. We have E. We're going to an E dominant 7, which is E, B, D. And then we're just gonna trade out the B for a G sharp on the third beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna go to an A. Whoops, A. Yeah, just like that. It's gonna be E, A, middle C. So the first two measures, A. Yeah, we're just rocking back and forth between these chords. We have the E. First time we change it, then we go to the A minor. Second time we're on the E and we just stay on this dominant. And then we go back to the A minor. Nice. So let's learn those 4 measures together. This is one of the hardest things in the whole piece. It's gonna be for you guys. We have, notice that trill happens right on the downbeat. So notice that throughout all 4 measures, the trill always happens on the downbeat. And then we're gonna land on an E octave together. One more time. I'm gonna do it even slower. It's hard to do trills slowly. And E. Nice, great job. This might be something you have to take a whole week to practice before you move on to this next part. And yeah, just with watching this video, I do recommend that you practice these things. You can watch the whole video just to kind of get an idea of the piece, but each one of these different ideas is gonna take a lot of practice. This next measure is awesome, but so challenging. This might be the first time in your life you've ever seen a quintuple note like this. So the first beat, and the thing we have to remember is we have 3 beats in this measure. So just think about it like this. It's really easy to let the left hand anchor that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it's the same thing as the first measure we did at the beginning of this, with that E to the E dominant to the G sharp right there. So when we're playing it, just remember each of these unique ideas. First we have the triplet, then we have the quintuplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this last one is just a dotted eighth with a 16th note. And that's the downbeat. And it actually ends on a trill, so it is just really hard. But we just have to remember each one of these ideas is its own beat. So we're practicing triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 notes in one beat. Triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll teach you the notes in a second. So it sounds triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. So that's the third beat. But let's go ahead and teach you the notes. If you know what an E major chord is, and this is one of the greatest things about classical music, if you just learn your chords, patterns happen everywhere. We're just doing E major chord. Notice it has an 8 VA above it, so that means we're going up an octave. 1, 2, 3, triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does it get that high? Oh yeah, you can see that. Cool. Triple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the triplet is just on the first E major, triplet. And then you have a second E major, and then you just have the E and the G sharp. Triple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Triple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's good to put a metronome on so you have the triple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Triple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Triple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's learn about this next one. It's a I learned takadimi, which is just a way of subdividing our 16th notes. So we play stuff like this. Takadimi, ta, takadimi. Yeah, that's takadimi. Yeah, you just have to trill 5 and 4. It's really tough at first, but you get used to it after a while of doing it. Oh, that's tricky too. For this last one, what I do is I just play my pinky twice, but you could play 4, 5, triple it. But I just played pinky twice. Like that. Let me just show you how the whole thing sounds together. It's gonna take a long time to practice this. The next downbeat is gonna be on an A. So the left hand is 1, 2, 3, 1. That's where we're gonna get to. Just like this. Good, and we're ending on that trill. All right, congratulations. If you've learned that, that's pretty much the hardest measure in the whole piece. This next one, we're just doing a trill. It's actually really easy. Like that. 3, 1, 4, 3, and then this next measure, we're actually trilling where we just left off with our 3 and 4 on A and B. E, E, A. E, E, you can't see that high. I'll do it down here. So that's what it'll look like. All right, here's the cool thing about this. That A just does with an A chord, A minor chord. Double repeat, we actually repeat back to the beginning of that section. So we'll play it twice. So it goes. And then we just would repeat it. But I'm going to go ahead and move on because my iPad's battery's running low. So that's the whole first page. Good job, everybody. Right here, we're starting right back in, but with no pickup. So we're just gonna go into the same thing. We know this. Same thing as the beginning. Just double checking. Here, it does that second thing that we did, where we go up to the C. Good. So this is where it changes a little bit. This part is awesome. We're gonna play a D sharp with finger 2. We're gonna go D, B, F, F, G, A, B. Just like that. 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just pretend like you're in the key of E right here. And we're gonna be on a B dominant 7 in the left hand. We have B. Maybe that's not right. Ah, there it is. We have an A, B, D sharp. That B dominant 7, which leads us to the E that we're about to go to in the next measure. So, and then we're gonna play E. We're gonna rest on this next beat. So it's just 1 and 2, 3. This rest feels like it's a long time, but it's really not before we get into that next part. So all that together, and just notice that last left-hand chord. We're just going to that E dominant 7 that we've been to a number of times. That whole part is gonna sound like this. And something to note is we're building up into this next part. Oh, no pickup. Just right into it. Going up and still going up. 3, 1. See how that 3 feels like forever, man. All right, this next part's really cool. Let's learn the left hand part too, because the right hand part is so hard. So the E, we're gonna be on an E major chord to an A major, like that. And our A major is gonna go A to E, A, C sharp, like that. And then we just go back. But this time we're gonna be playing a D instead of the G that we played the first time, and then back to the A. So the whole 4 measures of the left hand, E with a G sharp, A major. E with a B instead, A major now. Great job. Let's go ahead and learn the right hand part. So we're gonna be all the way up here on a B with our right hand, and this is gonna be, think of B minor, or D major. Kind of has a D major feel, where it's got the F sharp and the C sharp, but we're in B minor here. All right, so that little symbol right there is just another way of notating a trill that just goes up and back down. So we're ending on that C sharp, but we're just going adding a little D in between there. And the way it's going in the measure before is we have B, C sharp, D, F sharp, E, D. And notice, put each finger in like a 5-finger position here, and everyone has a job to do. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 3. And that's a 2, 3, 2 trill. So putting it together, just like that. This part's pretty tough too. Here you're gonna have to switch finger 4 to that C sharp. 1, 4. So that's 2, 3, 1. 2 is gonna be on this G sharp now. So we have C sharp, which you can see in the music, it's not notated as a C sharp, but 2 beats before it is a C sharp. G sharp, A, and then F sharp. Use 4, 2 again. 4, 2, 4, 2, like that. 4, 2, 4, 2, 1, and this is gonna be the downbeat. But the downbeat actually is a trill this time. And it's so funny, I'm not actually sure why sometimes it notates it with that little swiggly symbol, and other times it notates it with grace notes. It means the same thing actually. So we're just adding a trill there to end on E. Let's try it all together. All right, that's where we got to. All right, after that trill, we're gonna have to cross finger 2 over to D, like that. And then our thumb goes down to G sharp, and we go 4, 3, like that. And then here, we're gonna go 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 2 on C sharp, A, 4, 3. All right, the whole thing. Sorry. All right, that's the 4 measures. Let's try it with the left hand. So just doing those same changes we've been doing. And let's look ahead. When we end, the next downbeat is gonna be on a B and an E because we just repeat it over again. So let's try and end on that. And good. Wasn't my perfect performance of it, but I haven't played this middle part in a minute. All right, we're gonna repeat the exact same thing, but there's a little bit of a different ending. First 2 measures exactly the same. Good. Here, that's how we're gonna end. And it's gonna be the same thing as the last time we did this, kind of where we're ending a phrase, and we just do one by itself and then leave a breath in between. But let's learn that third part of the left hand. So we do the same, so that this is the downbeat, 2 on D, G sharp, 4, 3, and then we just go 1, 2 on the G sharp A. 1, 2, and then here's just where we go A, and then one of those by itself. So that second time around, it'll sound like this. 1, 2, my bad. Yeah, just like that. Here, we just play an E and we actually loop back around and play that whole thing again. Just like that. Blah, blah, da, da, da. And then here's where we do our climb up. And the B. And we're just gonna hold, it's that actually. 3, 1. And that's just what it'll sound like. You really gotta slow down and break this into parts to try and get through it. Moving on past the repeat, we're just gonna do the same exact thing we did at the beginning. Thank the Lord, because we have worked hard to get here. And just like that, let's see, it's the same exact thing. Here, we're gonna do the one where we're an A an octave up, playing the same thing right here. And then this is the D minor one. Oh, I see. And then we just do the second ending that we did at the very beginning of the piece. Here, we're just going to play it once, and then we have another pickup, and then we're going to go D minor, This is new. So the first two measures are just like we're starting the piece out. Here we're gonna play an E on the downbeat. Notice we have a rest on the downbeat in the right hand. And we have one of those little cymbals, which means we just trill it. It's 1 and 2, 2, 2, and 2, and 2. So that's just how it goes. I do that with the same. You can do it like that if you want to. 1, 2, 1, 2. But I just do it like that. That's a B, D, C. Okay, cool. So going through that, you can see in the left hand we just had that same E dominant 7 with the G sharp we've been doing. That's how it's gonna land. You gotta practice those first two beats like that. And then we just end on a C with an A minor chord. And that's it. So starting from the beginning of that kind of theme, we have N, rest, oh, A minor. Feels like it should be a C, but it's not. All right, the very grand finale, we play a C all by itself. Pinky goes up to C. Let's learn the left hand part. So the left hand is just C, and then we have this unique chord where it's an E octave with an A right there in the middle. 1, 2, rest, D, and then we're gonna play an A, B, F, rest. Then we have an E all the way down here. 1, 2. On beat 2, we play an E and a C. Beat 3, we play an E, B, D, and then we have an A. Just the end of the piece. So we go 1, 2, rest, 1, 2, rest, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Right hand, we're just going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. That's how I would play it. Starting on C, we're just walking down the scale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm gonna put my thumb right here on E. Let's get to that part. That's as far as we got. Putting it together, we have, notice that's on the offbeat. 1 and 2 and 3, and right here where we cross is where our left hand plays this next note. Oh man, my iPad's about to die. I gotta, I won't be able to see. Here we're gonna play an E octave at the same time. This trill specifically where it says Trill, we have to do a special thing here. We're actually gonna play 5 notes, just like the quintuplet we did earlier. And we're gonna end on beat 2 on that D sharp with finger 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. See how you might be able to hear my foot tapping? That's the beat. Try and fit, we gotta fit 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's almost like you're exploding into it. The way to do this is just do it. Try and keep it in your fingers as much as possible. Any extra movement for things like this, like if you're using your hand too much or your fingers aren't in a good position or your wrist isn't set up right, it's gonna be almost impossible to play 5 notes in a quick succession. And you gotta really practice exploding out of it. The way it's gonna sound with the left hand, we just kind of land. Whoops. And that's the end of the piece. That's how it all combines together. That's gonna be really difficult at first, especially if you're not used to playing trills like that. Yeah, so just practice that exact part over and over again. Very similar to how we had to do, practice this part over and over again. And there's several parts throughout this piece where we just have to really dig into it. Thanks for watching this video, everybody. I hope it was helpful for you. This is one of my favorite pieces to teach. And I'm telling you, when I teach a student this piece, it might take 4 weeks, it might take 3 months to learn it. And this is something I would learn in a combination of other pieces. So don't be discouraged if you watch this whole video and you can't play it right away. These are things that have to be committed to muscle memory, especially stuff like this. If you're not used to those jumps in the left hand, it's gonna take a lot of practice just to get familiar with those. So this is something, you might come back to this video, you might just take notes and then sit with your sheet music. just take a long time practicing each part. I recommend 1 hour a day for 4 weeks. That might be what it takes to learn this piece. But once you have it, it is gorgeous. It is so fun to play. This is the kind of piece that if you sit down and play, everyone's just gonna stop what they're doing and say, wow, that sounds really, really beautiful. 2 things, my iPad died and my overhead camera died. So I hope I got enough footage of my overhead camera. I just looked up to my feedback and saw that it was black. So, moral of the story, charge your devices beforehand. Who knows, maybe my camera right here died and I can't see it. But again, thank you so much for watching. My name's Jordan Evans. I love making videos like these, and it's fun for me to dig into some of these older pieces that I don't necessarily play a lot, but I teach them pretty regularly, so I have a good idea of how they're supposed to be. And if you like this video, like I said at the beginning, subscribe so you can see when I post my stuff in the future, and I will see you guys next time.